Hello and welcome back, everyone, and it is here. Not only did we get a cast list or a cast leak for The Challenge USA Season 2, but we have everybody on site in Croatia filming right now. They've already departed on April 7th, and they'll be there for the next 6 to 7 weeks to see who will be crowned The Challenge USA 2 champion. So this video, we're going to be diving into the rumored cast list of everybody who is on site there, as well as the alts that are also waiting to see if they will be called to jump in and replace somebody who is either medically DQ'd or has to quit or any of all that. Now, of course, the host for the Challenge USA 2 is TJ Lavin. No surprise there. Let's talk about some of the alts for the MTV side. We have both Naya and Darrell as alts if any of the MTV women or men have to be taken out of the game. Then you have on the non-MTV reality side, you have Kayla, Cinco, and Kyland, who were on the last season of the Challenge USA, Season 1. Honestly, I would have loved to have seen Kayla got a second try after what happened in the finals last season. Cinco, I felt like he didn't reach his true potential alongside Kyland as well. And from just a CBS fresh meat type of side, we have Hannah from Big Brother 23, you have Joseph from Big Brother 24, and Lulu from The Amazing Race. I'm actually really surprised about Joseph not being on the main cast list, because not only was he on Big Brother 24 and kind of a big deal on there, I mean, a lot of people enjoyed him and Taylor as a duo. He's also very fit, but as well, he was featured on a Rachel Robinson workout video during the workout series. Now let's get into the main cast, and the way I separated how we're going to be talking about whom from the cast. We're going to be talking about non-MTV women first, and some are players who we saw from the Challenge USA 1, but because that was on CBS and not on MTV, these are strictly players who have not been seen on MTV at all. So we'll be talking about the non-MTV women competitors, the non-MTV men competitors, and then we'll get into the players that have been seen on MTV, and a good amount of them have been on both CBS productions and MTV productions. So let's jump into it, starting with none other than Alyssa from Big Brother 23, where she placed 7th place, and she won 2 veto wins on that season. And we also saw her on the Challenge USA Season 1, where she won 1 daily, and then she went 1-1 in an elimination record. She lost to her best buddy and best alliance member, Angela, right before the finals. Alyssa was mainly working with Survivor and Angela, and really turned her back on her Big Brother 23 players that she played with because she couldn't trust them or she wanted some act of revenge. There's not that many players from Big Brother 23 making an appearance back on this season, but there's going to be a possible interesting storyline with somebody who is returning to this season, but Alyssa will be back. Let's move on to another Alyssa, and that is Alyssa S. from Big Brother 24, where she placed 5th place on that season. She did not win a single HOH or veto, and really her Big Brother 24 really revolved around her showmance on that season. But a fun fact that I thought of was that she is the second Alyssa from Florida on this season. I think that on Big Brother 24, I think the live feeds, she mentioned that she knew Alyssa from Big Brother 23 the previous season, and maybe that was the foothold of getting Alyssa S onto Big Brother 24 the next season. So I don't know what to expect from Alyssa S, but I just thought that that was interesting that not only are we getting 2 Alyssas, but I think they know each other and they're both from Florida. Next up, we have Ameerah from Big Brother 24, where she placed 14th place. She got no wins because she was out that early, and fun fact, she was the 2nd person evicted, but the 3rd person to leave. Talk about a player you have no idea where to place her, what to expect from her. All you're hoping, if you're Ameerah, is to last longer in the Challenge USA than you did in Big Brother. Now, somebody that did make it far on their original show was Cassidy from Survivor 43, where she got 2nd place. She did a great job on the season, getting 3 individual immunity wins, and fun fact, she lost to Gabler by a vote of 7-1-0. She actually won the final immunity challenge and decided not to make fire, and a lot of people on the jury felt like that was a cop-out. So Gabler won and she lost 7-1-0, but she did get runner-up. I'm very excited. Cassidy is like one of only 4 new Survivor castmates to be on this season. I mean, this is a drastic change, right? The first Challenge USA season, there was like 8 or 9 Survivor players. And this season, we are getting a good handful of Survivor players, some that have been on MTV. But the new players that are coming on here, there's only like 4 Survivor players and a good chunk of Big Brother players. I'm looking forward to Cassidy as well as the other Survivor players that are going to be on here because I think Survivor has a better one-to-one translation from their game into the challenge. And we saw 2 Survivor players win the first season of the challenge. And I think if 2 Survivor players can win this season of the Challenge USA, that's even more impressive because they're coming in at a slight numbers disadvantage than, say, last season. Speaking of Survivor, let's talk about the next competitor from Survivor, and that is Chanel from Survivor 42. Her placement was 11th on that season. She had no individual wins because she was the first boot from post-merge. Just like I was saying with Alyssa S. and Amira, it's hard to kind of pinpoint what Chanel will be able to do on the Challenge USA, but I think she has a good potential to maybe make a deep run, maybe make some good connections on the show. So I have faith in Chanel. Now, somebody that I'm very excited to see back, and that is Desi, coming back for a redemption tour. Her original show was Survivor 35, placement was 11th, 1 individual immunity won, and we saw her on the Challenge USA Season 1 where she won 2 dailies. She made it to the finals. However, she was DQ'd like 30 seconds into those finals because Enzo had to quit. He didn't like the swim. It was too choppy for him. He quit right off the bat, and Desi was his partner. Desi is back. If I could have picked anybody to come back for the Challenge USA Season 2 from Season 1, Desi was high up on my list. She was robbed from how her season ended, and I'm so happy that she is back. I think she's going to come into this game like fully focused, taking no crap from anybody, and it's going to be all business for her. And I'm just so excited to see Desi back. I just think that she has the potential to do it. I think she could have made a big run in Season 1 if she wasn't taken out that early, and I'm so happy that she is back. And the final non-MTV woman on this cast is the return of Tiffany, whose original show was Big Brother 23. She placed 6th place and got 2 HOH wins on her season. Now, in her Challenge USA Season 1 appearance, she did not have as much success as she did in her Big Brother season, where she lost her only elimination that she saw that season and lost to James and Kayla. Tiffany, I was kind of disappointed with how she performed in the Challenge USA Season 1. She got tied up with the whole Cinco love triangle and jealousy angles and all that other stuff. She played too much into it. I thought that she could have went into the Challenge USA season very padded, very interlocked with a lot of the cast members on like all sides. And then she just got played really hard that season. So coming back, I think she has a lot to prove. She also has a redemption arc that she wants to be doing. We'll have to wait and see if she's going to be able to get redemption as well as possibly get revenge, because that's the angle that I was talking about with Alyssa coming back from Season 1. She was dead set focused on taking out every single Big Brother 23 player, and one of those players was Tiffany. So now will there be some sparks, some action, some spice between Tiffany and Alyssa? I think that's a strong possibility, and I cannot wait to see. And now let's go to the non-MTV men's side of the competition, and we're going to start off with Chris Underwood, whose original show was Survivor 38, where he won. He won 1 individual immunity win, and that was the final Tribal Council immunity win. He won the last individual immunity of the season, but he gave it up to make fire because, fun fact, he spent 26 full days on Edge of Extinction. So when he came back, he got in good with the social game, he won the final immunity challenge, but to prove to the jury that he deserved the win, he gave up his individual immunity. He took that risk to make fire, and that kind of locked up the win for him. Let's move on to Dusty from The Amazing Race, where he placed 3rd on his season. He won 3 legs during that season, and the fun fact that I found for him was he has a podcast. It's really difficult for Amazing Race players to see how their like skills will translate onto a show like The Challenge. I think Kayla was a fan favorite on this Challenge season 1, and Dusty was a guy that liked to compete. He can get a little hot-headed a little bit. He's in great shape, so I think that he will fit in well with the Challenge setting and with all the other players. But kind of like last season, it's nerve-wracking for Amazing Race when they have very limited numbers coming onto the season, and so they might work with each other, but they can also be an easy target because they are one of the smaller groups in the house. Now, while we're on the topic of Amazing Race players who got 3rd place on their season, let's talk about Lewis. His pair also won 3 legs during their season, and fun facts, he is a firefighter. He's in great shape, as well as he went by Team Miami, so I will be a huge Lewis fan during this season of the Challenge USA. I liked him and Dusty on both their seasons of The Amazing Race. I think they're going to be getting along like 2 peas in a pod. I think they're both capable of doing well in eliminations or in daily challenges, so I have high hopes for Lewis and Dusty. My only worry, again, is the numbers problem. Like what we saw with Leo being thrown in over and over and over again. Now, not to say Leo is a little bit smaller and not as built as Dusty and Lewis, but I'm just saying that James, Kayla, and Leo were very much targeted because of the numbers situation in the house. And it's worrisome when there's so little numbers for a season or a show, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we could just start dogpiling votes on them or keep throwing them in over and over and over again. But I think the size of Lewis and Dusty and the competitors that they are, I feel like maybe they can get themselves out of some sticky situations. Maybe they'll see a couple eliminations, but I have faith that they'll be able to make it out. Let's move on to Monty from Big Brother 24, where he placed 2nd place. He got runner-up to Taylor. Monty on the season got 3 HOH wins and 2 veto wins. Pretty impressive stuff. Fun facts, he does impressions and think they are good. Please, I'm praying that he does not do any impressions on the Challenge USA Season 2, but Monty is a personal trainer. He also wants to be an actor. He also does a lot of like TikToks and like an influencer, so it's kind of like, of course, he was on Big Brother, and now he's going to be on the Challenge Season 2. Again, a tall, strapping young man, and I think that he will be able to do quite well on the season. Next up, we have Sebastian from Survivor 36, where he placed 6th place on that season. That was Ghost Island. That's the season that Wendell won. He got no individual immunity wins, and fun fact, he's another person from Florida. Now, I will say, I do watch Survivor. I like Survivor, I like the gameplay, but I wouldn't consider myself a Survivor historian like my friend Chris from the Nullified Take channel, because when I saw Sebastian, I was like, he seems familiar, but then when I looked at his season and his stats and everybody there, I was like, I don't really remember Sebastian at all. On the 36th season, if your name wasn't Wendell, Dominic, or Laurel, then I really don't have any recollection of them on that season, because after Merge, Wendell, Dominic, and Laurel just seemed like a really tight trio, and they just dominated those competitions and the back half of that season. Not trying to be mean to Sebastian, I just don't remember. And the final non-MTV man on this season, making his reality TV show return, is Tyler from Big Brother 20, where he got 2nd place to Casey. On that season, he won 3 HOH and 3 veto wins. He was a comp beast, but we also saw him back again on Big Brother for Big Brother 22 All-Stars 2, where his placement was 6th. He got 2 HOH wins, 2 veto wins. Now, I'm hoping that Tyler is back and ready to play the game, because when he was back on Big Brother for Big Brother 22, there were points where he kind of was not into it. And he kind of lost all momentum, all motivation. He didn't want to be there. He missed Angela. Maybe it was the Angela stuff. Maybe now that they are broken up, he was like, I would really like to compete and be on the challenge. And so here he is. He's on the challenge. I hope he's here to compete. I think he can do a great job on this show. I really do think that he'll be a force to be reckoned with. I think he has a great social game. Of course, he has a good physical game. If he is friends with Casey, then he knows a good amount of people probably that Casey knows from the MTV challenges and the Big Brother crew that's going to be in there. So I have faith in Tyler to go far on this upcoming Challenge USA season. All right, let's move on to the MTV representatives that will be on this show. Now, I will say that some of the players that they casted from the MTV side have also premiered on certain CBS shows like Big Brother, like Survivor. But if they appeared on the Challenge's MTV flagship show, I put them in this category. So let's jump in alphabetical order. We're going to start off with Amanda is back. Her original show was Are You the One Season 3. Her challenge debut was Rivals 3. She has done 6 total seasons. The last time we saw her was the Challenge 37 SLA, where she placed 5th place and she lost to Tori right before the finals. Now we're going to be talking about a man that some of us don't really want to see back on the challenge this quickly, but it could make for an interesting storyline with Fessel on the show, not only with Amanda, but also with Michelle, who we'll be talking about later on as well. So I think that with Amanda back, she was a breath of fresh air on the Challenge 37, and now she's going to be on the Challenge USA Season 2. And I think that it's going to be quite interesting to see who she lines up with in alliance-wise and see how far she can go on the show. Could she make it to a finals for the first time in her challenge career? Could be possible. Now let's talk about a man who has done a lot of shows for the challenge, and some we have seen pretty recently on 38 and the World Championships, and I'm talking about Johnny Bananas, whose original show was the Real World Key West. He made his challenge debut on season 13, The Duel. He has done 21 seasons of the main flagship show, not counting all the spin-offs that he has done, because then that's like 25 to 26 seasons in total for the challenge altogether. The last time we saw him was Ride or Dies, where he got 2nd place, and realistically, the last time we saw him, the last time we saw him was being eliminated very recently on the World Championship. He's gonna want to get farther than he did in the World Championships, but is the deck stacked against him? I think he's gonna have his work cut out for him. Somebody that I'm actually very excited to see who has not been on the challenge in recent seasons, that is Corey. From the Real World Explosion, he made his debut on the challenge in Bloodlines. He has done 9 seasons of the challenge. Last time we saw him was Challenge 37 SLA, where he placed 8th place, and he hasn't been on the show since 2021. I'm hoping that he was able to beef up on his math skills, maybe help Ryder with her homework, and maybe do some better in puzzles and everything, because he's still looking jacked. I just think that he needed to work on his mental game. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does on this show, as well as will he align himself with Bananas, which we've seen on Total Madness and after that season, or will he align himself with Amanda, who may not want to be aligned with Bananas. I think Corey has some options, as well as this next contestant, whom he has been friends with for quite a while, but we did see him call him the enemy in a phone call on the Challenge 38 season with Nelson. And I'm talking about Fessel, whose original show was Big Brother 20. He made his challenge debut on Total Madness. He has done 4 seasons of the challenge. Last time we saw him was the Challenge 38, where he placed 5th place, losing to Bananas and Nany right before the finals. Will Fessel be able to use his social game to get back in good with Corey, who called him the enemy on a phone call back home with Nelson? Will he be able to work with Amanda, or will they want to get each other out? Will he want to work with Bananas? I mean, he worked with Bananas a little bit on the last season, season 38, but Bananas kind of made him look like a fool. You know, he got him eliminated right before the finals. And so where will Fessel go? Where is his allegiance lies? Will he work with Tyler on from Big Brother 20? Probably. Even though they weren't on the same side of the alliances in the Big Brother house, I think that they'll be able to work together. We'll have to wait and see. Let's move on to Jonna, whose original show was Real World Cancun. She made her challenge debut on Rivals. She has done 5 main seasons. Last time we saw her was on the World Championship season, where her partner was medically DQ'd, so she had to be pulled from the game as well. But she is a 3-time All-Star finalist and a 2-time All-Stars champ. She has not been eliminated from a challenge season in 4 seasons via an elimination. I think that Jonna has been doing quite well in a renaissance as of late, but this is a completely different game. Different than World Championships, different than All-Stars. Let's talk about a man that we have not seen on the show in quite some time. And that is Josh from Big Brother 19, the Big Brother 19 winner, whose challenge debut was Season 33 War of the Worlds. He has done 5 main seasons of the challenge. Last time we saw him was at Challenge 37 SLA, where he placed 7th place. He is 1-5 in eliminations. We haven't seen him in quite a while. There was talks that maybe he was going to be on 38, maybe he was going to be on the World Championship. Well, those two were not going to happen. But this time, he is here. He's back, and he has been working out. He's been working out with Tori. He's been working out with Rachel Robinson in Miami. Has Josh changed in the year and a half that we have not seen him on the show since? And will he be working with certain Big Brother players that maybe he had some allegiance to in the past, sort of? And will that translate to this game? And will some hatchets be buried? Or will some anger start to rise up to the top? And will Josh be someone to be looked at to send into eliminations over and over again? I don't know, but for some reason, I don't know why, but looking at the makeup of this cast and kind of like the connections or the possible connections in this season, I don't know, for some reason, I feel like Josh could make a finals run. I feel crazy saying that, but for some reason, I feel like if Josh has been working out as much as it seems like he has, and he could have a solid social game coming into this season and maybe have worked things out with prior house guests that he had some beef with. I don't know. He could be a strong social butterfly, and maybe he's not looked at as much of a threat because of his elimination record, and people want to see him go into a finals because they feel like they can beat him. And maybe that's the first time Josh will make a finals in his challenge career. I don't know. I feel like I've talked too much about it, and I don't necessarily believe it, but it's a thought that popped up into my mind while I had a chance of like sitting on this cast list and like thinking of all the possibilities, and I just feel like that could be a possibility. Now, somebody that I'm very excited to see back in a challenge type setting is Michaela from Survivor 33. She made her challenge debut on season 37. She's only done 1 season, and realistically only like 1/2 episodes of the challenge, which means that she more fits the non-MTV women than, say, the MTV player setting. But because she appeared on the Challenge MTV flagship show, I put her in this category. Last time we saw her was the Challenge 37, where she was the first eliminated, and ultimately she was targeted because Emmy's a snitch. I'm happy to see Michaela back. I know that she was possibly in talks of coming back for the Challenge 38, but happy that she, I think, will have a better time on this season and more of a chance on this season to really work hard and get farther than she would in, say, like a challenge flagship show of the Challenge 38. Maybe she can get her feet firmly in on the game with help from Michelle, who is going to be on this season, who we will be talking about very, very soon, as well as the other Survivor players that are going to be on this season, and maybe some other bonds that she can start to form and then take those into the flagship show, hopefully in the future. But I'm very, very excited to see Michaela back in the challenge. I don't care if it's the Challenge USA Season 2 or whatever. I'm just happy that she is back, as well as Michelle from Survivor 32 and Survivor 40. She made her challenge debut on Season 37. She's only done 2 seasons of the challenge. Last time we saw her was getting 9th place on the Challenge 38, where she won 2 dailies alongside her partner, Jay. I think Michelle is ready to compete, ready to come back and show off that she has the skills to make it far in a challenge season. I think we got to see a little bit of a taste in the Challenge 38 of what she feels like she could bring to the show, and I'm just so happy that she's going to be able to come onto this show. And I think she, like Michaela, she's going to have a little bit stronger foundation to stand on and use her social game, not only with the MTV side, but also flirting around with the newcomers on this season. So I'm excited for both Michaela and Michelle back on the challenge and back on a challenge together. And talking about making a comeback, let's talk about Paulie from Big Brother 18, where he made his challenge debut on season 32, where he's done 3 seasons. He's made it to 2 finals in those 3 seasons. And the last time we saw him was season 34, War of the Worlds 2, where he got 2nd place. And this will be his first appearance back on a challenge season since 2019. He has been taking some time off with a hiatus. What will Paulie do? You know, we know he has some real contention for Johnny Bananas, who may be on the outsides looking in, who doesn't feel like he has a lot of numbers coming into this game, and I feel like Paulie's not going to be a number for him this upcoming season, but it's going to be very interesting to see how Paulie plays this. Coming back after being away from the game for so long, who will he align himself with? Who will he want to work with? Will he play nice? Will he be the villain? I think the possibilities and potential is all over the place for Paulie, and I think that's what's the most exciting part. Will he play nice with Josh? Will he play nice with Tori? Or will he want to work with a lot of the rookies? Will he work with the other Big Brother players like Fessel and Tyler? This is his first time playing with a lot of the players on this season and some of the MTV players, so I think that this could be very, very interesting for Paulie on this situation. We know that he can be a firecracker. We know that he can bring the entertainment and the drama, and he does well in the daily challenges and everything. So it's going to be interesting what he brings onto this show and what he can do on this show. Will he play nice or will he be the villain? I think knowing those two possibilities of where it could I think that's interesting. I'm not saying I'm a big Paulie fan, but I think that having such a diverse cast of players that we've seen a good amount of recently to players that we haven't seen, with also a whole bunch of newcomers, I think that just is a boiling pot of possibility and potential that I'm excited to see how it all plays out. Now, I think that's a good segue to talk about this next player that we've seen quite a bit as of recently and realistically since her debut season in season 30. I'm talking about Tori from Are You the One season 4. Her debut season on the challenge was Dirty 30. She has done 7 seasons. Last time we saw her was winning the challenge 38. She's currently on the World Championships tethered to Danny, and it's not going very smoothly for her on the World Championship, and I don't know if her luck is changing because she's having some struggles on the World Championship, and I think those struggles are going to be happening coming onto this upcoming USA Season 2. With some of the numbers, I mean, Tori isn't coming in with her normal vacation alliance. She has players that she's worked with in the past and very recently, some from World Championship. However, there's a good amount of enemies that Tori is coming into the season. And the final MTV competitor that is going to be on this show is none other than Wes, whose original show was The Real World Austin. He made his challenge debut on season 12, Fresh Meat, and he has done 14 challenge seasons. Last time we saw him was World Championship, where he was eliminated quite early alongside his partner, Zara, where they didn't drink the drink, but he recently won All Stars 3, and he's coming on to do the Challenge USA Season 2, and I actually think Wes could do the best out of all the MTV competitors that are on here. I mean, he does have some relationship with all the MTV players on the season. I think that he can work his magic to get in good with all of them, work with all of them, as well as we know how well he can work with all the rookies. So, I don't know. I think out of all the MTV players that are on this season, I think Wes has the best opportunity to make really, really far. I almost think of like War of the Worlds season 33, where Wes was coming back after a long hiatus, and he was able to get in good with players that he's never played with, as well as players that he has played with, and he was able to wiggle himself all the way up to get to that finals, and I think that this could play out the same exact way. Now, I will say, when I heard that there was a Challenge USA Season 2 cast in the works, and that it was going to be happening, I thought, well, duh. It's inevitable, you know? Because if you looked at any of the episode ratings from the Challenge USA Season 1, I mean, all of those episodes got by and far better ratings than really any of the Challenge main flagship show episodes have gotten in years, like in years or if ever, you know? So when I saw those ratings, I just knew that the Challenge USA Season 2 was going to happen. Now, when I saw some of the names initially, I wasn't super thrilled about this cast, you know? I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of the Challenge USA Season 1. I thought it was good in some aspects, and I liked some of the competitors, and I liked the variation. but there was something missing in my opinion, and I'm not saying that this season is better because it has MTV cast members. I'm actually in the camp that finds it a little weird that there's a whole bunch of MTV challengers that have been on both MTV and the Challenge USA. I guess if you were on a CBS show prior to your MTV debut, it doesn't make it as weird. It just feels weird to see like Bananas and Wes and Tori in the context of a Challenge USA CBS kind of vibe. But I think they want that crossover to see if people do like the MTV players that have been on both seasons or is going to be on the flagship show, that maybe it'll translate them to checking out MTV when the next season, season 39 happens, or even if they sign up for Paramount Plus, that they would check out the other Challenge seasons on there. So it makes sense from a business standpoint, as well as another business standpoint is that CBS lost their rights to Love Island. Peacock got the bid. It's now a Peacock original series for the Love Island USA players. So they really, I don't think, could have brought in any new Love Island competitors because the show isn't under the umbrella of Viacom, CBS, Paramount. So it makes sense why maybe they decided to substitute the MTV players in here for the Love Island players that they felt like they couldn't really put in there. Also, they don't want to like advertise that this player is from Love Island when that's not even one of their shows anymore. So why not put MTV in there? And then it's like, we got synergy going on. Again, I'm in the ballpark of why is there so many Big Brother players? I would have preferred a lot more Survivor players as well. I feel like some of the show numbers are a little bit wildly different than I would like them to be. I thought the first season was good in the way that there was a decently split cast besides the three Amazing Race, and I was hoping that we could have a little bit more of an even split coming into season 2 whenever it was going to be made, and we just didn't get that. I feel like we're a little bit lopsided again, especially with Amazing Race being at even more of a deficit coming into this season than the prior season. If only Kayla was brought back, I think that would have been even better with Kayla, Dusty, and Lewis. That would have been incredible. I would have really enjoyed that trio to watch as well. So again, my initial reaction to this Challenge USA 2 cast was not super thrilled with it. You know, I was a little bit more skeptical about certain players, casting choices, why this person, why not this person or this person. And I was kind of being negative about it. You know, I wasn't happy that I was being negative about a new set of players coming into the game, new possibilities and everything. But after having a week to sit on this and see the full cast list kind of locked in now, we get all the perspectives of the alts and the players coming back or new players coming in. And I'm actually a little excited. I'm happy about this cast list. I mean, thinking about certain players making their debut, not all of them I would think are first ballot challengers, but you never know what could happen with the possibilities of who's coming onto the show, as well as the possibilities of new story arcs. With everybody who is coming back, not only from the challenge, but the new players, what role they will play, as well as the pre-existing baggage that these MTV challengers are bringing into this season and how diverse some of this cast is, I'm actually excited. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm going to label this cautiously optimistic because I'm not at that neutral point like I was kind of at a few days prior. Now thinking about all the metagaming and the prior histories and potential storylines and what could happen, what kind of mess we could be getting into, the challenges that we'll be getting into, I'll raise it up a little bit saying I'm cautiously optimistic. And now I want to turn it over to you. What do you think about this Challenge USA Season 2 cast list? Let me know down in the comment section below. Who are you excited to see on this cast list? Who are you not excited to see? Who will you be rooting for? Who do you think has the best potential from the newcomers to make a deep run into this season and possibly a finals run? And who are you rooting against? I really want to know who everybody is rooting against. Who are you not excited to see on this cast list as well? Let me know anything and everything about this cast list down in the comment section below. I want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who is watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really soon with more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.
Oh. Alright.